Travis Wayne Goodsoul, Deuteronomy 18 and 19. I will raise unto Mormons a prophet from among them, like unto Moses, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that every Mormon who will not hearken unto his words, which he shall speak in my name, will be precisely as it stands in our New Testament instead. Also Joseph Smith History, verse 40. I don't have to do these hour-long videos speaking with you to destroy this church. The church destroys themselves. I can do what I did last night with the church news and just do video clips that are just 4 minutes long from the news, from the church's own mouth, and utterly destroy this church. There are 8.8 thousand videos that I've done, and I didn't have to speak all this time. I didn't have to reveal my identity. I could have stayed hidden, just done videos that cover what the news exposes, do the picture memes of the documents of the plot of this church to lie, to deceive. And Mormons are literally afraid of the hour-long videos that I do anyway. It scares them. That's why they react the way they do towards me. I was born and raised in the covenant. I know everything. I studied. Mormons don't study. And that's why they're afraid. They can only lash out with anger. They can only lash out with crime, with hate, with denialism. They are incapable of saying, well, Travis, this passage of Scripture says this, and be able to put me in my place, because I know the Scriptures better than they do. I know the context. I know the original translation. I know how the Book of Mormon was written. I know the real church history. They don't. Mormons don't study. And so they don't know how to counter my videos. And they can never counter them. My videos are based on the truth from the news, from the church, from the lips of the prophets. They expose themselves. And that's all I'm doing, is exposing them, exposing themselves. Mormons do not get this because they don't study. Mormons need to stop the lies. You need to tell people you haven't studied Mormonism. You lied, to have other people join the church with a spiritual witness feeling to not study. Mormons must stop these lies, and they won't. Mormons don't care that they're lying, deceiving people. Mormons are being exposed in the news. Where's my list? Where's my list? Oh my God. Trying to get rid of all these papers. There's a list somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's too early in the morning. I didn't collapse yesterday like I needed to. So I went to bed early, and here I am up early in the morning. Still with the wounds in my hands and in my feet, the wounds with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. And so Mormons represent the church. The Mormons in Beijing represented the church. And so when they got busted for whatever it was that they were doing, China had no problems immediately blaming the church as a whole. The actions of the Mormons got the church in trouble. Mormons don't understand this. The church sabotages them to lie to other people around the world, to just get a spiritual witness feeling, to never study. And so Mormons, in this ignorance, end up murdering, raping, kidnapping, hostage taking, torturing, abusing, robbing, committing crimes. And that was just the news for the 4th of July weekend. I was horrified. All of those happened over the 4th of July weekend, here in Utah alone. Mormons are setting a bad example for the church because of the church leaders telling them not to study. Mormons don't know the scriptures, and so they're not emulating the scriptures. They're emulating the prophets who taught them not to study. Mormons don't get this. You are exposed worldwide for the actions of Mormons. And so when Mormons hit the news worldwide or nation or nationally, those not Mormon see these individual reports and go, yeah, I knew Mormons were a cult. I knew they worshiped Lucifer. And you destroy the church. You refuse to listen to me, and you get the church in trouble. You made your choice that I somehow am wrong. You have no idea how. And you destroy this church. You must stop your lies. You must stop worshiping Lucifer and calling him Jesus. Even when, if you were to study, you would know that we're supposed to be Jewish. And you don't care. You still will not study. Despite the exclusive Mormon doctrines about Lucifer, you emulate them. The threefold mission of the church, and you get exposed. And so the only thing I can think of, I guess, is that you know you're lying. You know you're supposed to study. You've heard things in your little underground cult groups. You think that you're the smarter Mormon who knows these secrets and go around lying to people to keep them from knowing these secrets that you know. You are Master Mahan, the keeper of the great secret to murder and get gain. Which means you're past feeling and you're ripe, ready for destruction. You know you're a liar. One down. And so it's sad that you have an eternal hatred toward me, that you are incapable of learning truth for yourself, that you refuse to follow righteousness, you choose to be wicked. Love requires taking away agency. Just hilarious, folks. What a dumbass you are. I saw that video. It was recommended to me by YouTube. My October conference, 2024. I got over 1.4K views. Nelson's video about In a Coming Day. Nobody cared. Until a month later when people found out about it for themselves and then found little Sister Jessica. You guys watched Oaks rather than Nelson, and Nelson became the big news. I already covered him before the others. I pay attention. I study the enemy. I know my enemy. So lately, there's an increased number of haters who think they're going to show me. You do know your thumbs down do not show. You've been on YouTube long enough now to know that YouTube has changed that so that thumbs down don't show. Nobody sees them, just me. Which means you are directly attacking me. This is just social media. This is not a professional site where I provide references from primary source documents. No, I do the research and then I talk to you about it. You're not in my presence, so I can't talk with you about it. Sorry, dear, you're just going to have to listen to me. So I've tried to teach you how to study, to teach you how to understand correctly the scriptures. Mormons don't care. They don't care to learn Mormonism. They don't want to know the truth. That is sad. You are not hurting me. Playing this stunt of, we don't like you, we're ignoring you, and we hope you go away. It doesn't hurt me. You can't cancel culture me. You can't threaten me to stop. I have never stopped. The church has been trying to murder me, and I still haven't stopped. I still have not lost my honor and integrity about the truth. I've got the evidence that the church is a terrorist group. I've got their actual receipt of them trying to murder me. They paid to have me murdered, and I exposed it. I got the financial documents. You cannot threaten me to deny this. They ruined my life and can never restore the damage that they caused. You cannot threaten me to deny this. You can't lie to me and threaten me to believe your lies. You just will never get it. You call me the Antichrist when it is you who are the Antichrist. You are projecting your beam and mode. And I expose you every single time you send your hate comment, your denialism, your death threats. You will not stop. And you don't understand, you are destroying this church. So, from last night, not only are Mormons exposed as murderers, rapists, kidnappers, hostage takers, torturers, abusers, criminals, and thieves. The new Salt Lake City sheriff in town is shaking things up. I don't know if it had to do with what I told him in the video last week. They hate you. They want you gone. They're not doing the job that you were put in to do, that got the other guy fired. And so, yes, he's now removed some deputy sheriffs and the communications guy and replaced him. To see if they can get things back in line again. We'll see. I'll check again this morning. We'll see. It's not likely. I'm willing to bet that they'll retaliate even further now that you've done this stunt, Red. We'll see. IVF, in vitro fertilization, that Trump is the defender of, and yet it got banned, and yet, I don't know, it's stupid. People want to have babies, and a woman can't have them naturally. Let them have her babies in vitro fertilization. Nothing wrong with that. But through in vitro fertilization, you can actually have designer babies. I would love to do a picture meme for this. So cute. And so, yes, this has been available for a long time, and yet the news is treating it as if it's something brand new. Scientists are able to go in and alter the DNA, not to create a monster X-Men, But to change eye color, hair color, size, shape, those kinds of things, that's that kind of designer baby. They can remove certain diseases that are prone in a person's genealogy history. You know, if a person is supposed to get Alzheimer's, they can go in, find that part of the chain and pull it out, and the DNA will grow back brand new without the problem. People now can be cured through this process. And it is fascinating, but, you know, the natural way is more enjoyable. Nonetheless, it can be done. And so you'll most likely have all of these Christian groups wanting to ban designer babies. You're playing God! Really? Well, they're not Christian worshipers. Why are you trying to force their agency to follow your false beliefs? To take away their agency, to force them to your religion. Yeah. So, with the church video I did yesterday, I forgot that I could have added also the news lately that has been going on for decades of China sneaking in spies into America with designer agro-terrorist weapons. And it has to do with the news of China trying to buy up farmland in the United States of America. And I've done so here in Utah with the documentary clip that I shared with you. Is that they're buying up farmland, and the farmland that they can't buy, that's where they want to sabotage it with the bioweapon to destroy the crops. We are at war with China. It's just Congress has not declared war against China. We are at war with many of these enemy nations, and we are not fighting back. And so they continue to war against us unmolested. But that's what they're doing. They're attacking our food supply from the farms. They're buying them up so that they can be the exclusive seller and sabotage them, because once they become a monopoly, that's what they'll do. They'll start poisoning things. Chickens will get bird flu and stuff like that. That is their ultimate goal, is to monopolize the food supply for Americans and then poison us. But that's just one of the tactics. Fentanyl is the other one that they've been attacking us with. And don't get me started on Fox News being the only ones right in 2020 about China, for which the church knew about because Oaks got leaked. And it is sad that Mormons just don't care that Oaks got leaked. The church is true, Travis. And so, Trump again is rewarding the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We've seen it over and over and over and over and over. Trump is causing insider trading on the stock market. If you've been paying attention to the stock market, like I told you to pay attention to the stock market, the church has been profiting off of the stock market. They know in advance what's coming because they caused it. This is insider trading. They're getting the president this year to manipulate the stocks, and the church knows in advance. And so there's a pumping and dumping that is going on in the stock market. And so lately the stock market has been pumping in advance of the dumping this week. And Trump, sure enough, is making sure that it's going to be a bigger dump, with the extra pumping record breaking, by announcing that he's going to up the tariffs to 70%. And so, yay, pump the stocks, because we're going to dump them on that day when he does it. We all know this. This is what's coming. Everything in the news is tied to the church because Oaks got leaked. Yay, 3 papers. In only 27 minutes.